Hello everybody, Tyrone the God 3 here, and welcome to Pokemon XY&Z anime reviews. Today we'll be reviewing episodes 34 and 35. The episodes are titled Semi-Final Battle, Ash vs. Shota. And then the episode after that is titled Fierce Rival Battle, Ash Greninja vs. Mega Sceptile. But I'm not alone. Today I have a guest with me. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, everybody. This is Alpha Eevee. Great to be here.
Yes, Alpha Eevee is with me here. Follow him on Twitter and follow him on other social media platforms. We're here to talk about basically the Shota and Ash battle. I missed out on reviewing episode 34 earlier, but I'm going to make up for it by reviewing both episodes 34 and 35 since they're essentially glued together anyway. Like,
Basically,
yeah,
yeah.
it's a two-parter. So the best way to come at this is to just review the whole battle within itself. And just I'll briefly go over the plot summary and then we'll talk about opinions. So
All
the
right.
episode does begin, and I'm just gonna go straight to the battle because I do know that we get a little bit of Alon versus what's his name,
Yeah, I don't know his name here, but yeah,
the
he's the
Garchomp guy,
yeah, the Mega Garchomp user.
yeah. And we actually do get a glimpse of their battle. And I'm glad the episode decided to begin with that because it's a nice little chunk of their battle, too. It's not like one of those one-hit wonders that we've been seeing in the league so far.
Yeah, and I have seen a few complaints how this is killing screen time from the main battle in itself, but I think the writers did the right choice of making this a two-parter. So, with this episode starting out with Alon versus the Mega Garchomp guy, it's not much of a complaint for me.
Yeah, I like it, too, because we gives us a bit of a glimpse. Although it makes Alon seem dangerously powerful because, like, the only two Pokemon we saw on his team were Metagross and Charizard.
Yeah, and thanks to some future spoilers, we know a few more, but I think we'll talk about that later on.
Okay, are they all, yeah. It's just, with those uh, Pokemon, it was cool. It was still cool to see how the Mega Garchomp guy fared up against Alon and how it looks like he got a bit better in that battle, although he still got stomped.
Right.
Then we move on to the actual battle with Shota versus Ash. And when that battle takes place, it starts off with Hawlucha versus
Slaking.
Slaking. Yeah. And the cool part about this is that Hawlucha actually makes a request for Serena to make this cool little like luchador costume,
hmm
and it's really cool. Yeah, Hawlucha ends up losing in that battle, but it's still cool that he didn't fall too far behind in the personality factor.
Right.
Although unfortunately he did get one shotted by Slaking, so
Yeah, I think that was by counter, I believe.
pretty much, yeah. It was counter, so it took all the physical damage that Hawlucha was landing and just threw it right back at double. And then after that, we got Talonflame. Talonflame got a win off, so that was freaking cool.
And
And
he used
then,
Brave Bird after quite a while, which is
yeah,
something great
oh
to
yeah,
see.
and we got to see Brave Bird. That's right, Brave Bird came out for the win, and it was just beautiful. And then we got Clawitzer, and I
Yeah,
love
Clawitzer.
Clawitzer. Yeah, I love Clawitzer as a Pokemon. I just do. It's one of my favorites. Clawitzer comes in, freaking wrecks Talonflame, which I was upset about, but it made sense. Water versus fire. And then Pikachu freaking comes out all-star mode and beats Clawitzer. And I think at that point the episode had ended when we go straight into the next episode with Aegislash. I almost called him Hollandage. Um yeah, and then when Aegislash comes out, now I want your opinion on this. In the battle, Aegislash cuts up like the entire forest field.
Yeah, it did cut out the entire field, and I've got to say, it was a smart strategy from Shota because he knows that, throughout the battle so far from that episode, Ash has been using the environment to his advantage, and just having Aegislash cut up all the trees, it was a smart move, putting him at an advantage against Ash.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also one thing I would really like to compliment on was the thing that the strategy that Ash pulled, which I really gotta say was good on his part, especially when dealing with a Pokemon like Aegislash, because Aegislash is one of those frustrating Pokemon, even in the Wi-Fi game,
Oh
where he
yeah,
uses what is it, King Shield?
yeah, King Shield.
Yeah, when he uses King Shield, so he's defensive Aegislash, and then he switches to offensive Aegislash. Then you got to deal with his attack power being like extraordinarily high. So the counter for that was to have Pikachu uh, use all of the discarded wood and then knock it over inside of Aegislash little shield compartment so it couldn't go back into shield mode. That means that its defense power is really low because it can't go back into its shield form. It gets hit by Thunderbolt and it's knocked out. What'd you think of that?
That's by far it's one of the best. It's one of the best strategies I've ever seen from Mash throughout this particular series. Um, Omori was the one who wrote this episode, and even though Omori herself is known for writing all these Serena episodes and coming up with these Omori shipping hands, Omori did a fantastic job overall when it comes to this particular matchup. And what I like about it is how Amori brought up this Ash we've all been wanting to see. This Ash that who comes up with these strategies and gets the edge over their opponents. Yeah, just without a doubt, a really smart move from Ash, and yeah, it was really impressive.
When I saw because there's a moment where you notice it, where Aegislash goes back into its defense form, and Ash noticed it, and I looked at Ash when he noticed it, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, then he's probably gonna time it right or do something. I
Right.
honestly did not expect Ash's strategy to involve using the discarded pieces of lumber to
Mm-hmm.
block Aegislash from going to defense form altogether. Like that that didn't even cross my mind.
Me neither. That
It,
was really
yeah,
good from Ash.
that took me completely by surprise altogether. That was something I didn't even think of. So it's a lot of that outside of the box thinking that makes Ash the trainer he is, and really complements why he's doing such a really good job in Pokemon X, Y, and Z. Because I didn't even think of that. That's the type of unorthodox strategies that Ash brings to the battle.
Yeah, and it comes to show how smart of a trainer Ash has been in this particular series. I mean, heck, if we were within the anime world of Pokemon, we're not even going to be that smart, like to come up with strategies what Ash came up with.
Yeah, like I've seen like I know some people have been creative before, but yeah, again, I didn't even put that into consideration only because I paid the logs attention, but not enough attention to know that you could use them that in that fashion.
Right.
Like I knew that Ash could use the logs, but I didn't even think about them being a possibility of block, especially considering the fact that when the logs were originally made, they were still too big from when Aegislash cut
Mm-hmm.
them up the first time. The plan involved Aegislash cutting them up twice.
Right.
So yeah, I like that he used his opponent's moves against him basically.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So then we move on to the next battle. I think Ash switches Pikachu out because they change in the battlefield. I think what was the next battle? The next battle was
The battle of the
Noivern.
yeah, the battle of the dragons.
Yeah, Noivern versus Salamence. Really visually pleasing aerial battle.
Oh yeah. I really like this particular battle overall, and actually um we did get to see Incinerate in action for the first time from
That was
Salamence.
Incinerate. Okay, I figured it was. I was trying to figure out what move that exactly was. So that was Incinerate. Cool.
Yeah, I didn't know myself until sometime after the episode.
Okay. Very visually pleasing aerial wise because we don't get to see like a bunch of aerial battles
Right.
in X, Y, and Z. When we do, they look okay. This one was especially good just because both Pokemon were just zipping through the air. You can see the camera just dashing around, and you can see Noivern Noivern is using acrobatics not only to attack but also dodge. And then he's using Boom Burst to block off some of the Incinerate attacks. Yeah, it was a spectacle.
Yeah, and regarding Noivern, it's always great to see Noivern in action because we don't really get to see a lot of Noivern. And even
Yeah.
though this battle didn't last as long, to me it's still the best performance Noivern gave, so
Yeah,
far.
yeah, especially considering the fact that it was a tie. Like Noivern could have lost. And yeah, I'm upset that he didn't win because that means Noivern hasn't had a win yet for real in any real battles. But it was good to see that he didn't lose exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and then we had the next battle, which was Goodra versus
Slurpuff.
Slurpuff, which was basically a battle of willpower. And
Mm-hmm.
it was a A little bit underwhelming, but then again, Goodra isn't known to battle in the same fashion as Ash's other Pokemon. Goodra's more of a waited out encounter, kind of like what
Yeah,
Slaking is for
yeah,
Shota. So yeah, when Goodra finally did get in the bite attacks, which I'm also kind of confused why Goodra didn't just flat out learn some other moves while he was in the wetlands, but whatever.
yeah.
The battle.
Was
Go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, I was personally hoping that Gojo might have picked up the new moves while he was at the wetlands, but
Mm,
it's not much of a complaint.
yeah, yeah. It's nothing that'll ruin my day. Was I guess I was confused by Goodra still learning or using bite attack rather than like I don't know Draco Meteor or Dragon Tail or Dragon Rage or something.
Right, right. But then again, we haven't seen much of Gojo, so it's
That's true.
understandable.
Yeah. And Goodra is Ash's more bulkier tank defensive Pokemon. So, yeah, the battle basically ends in another tie.
And I think that was on purpose, just so for the purpose of on screen time for the main battle itself.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what are your thoughts on it being a tie?
Well, yeah, it's like I said, the writers did that on purpose, so they could save up the screen time for
Yeah.
this main particular matchup, which is Mega Sceptile against Ash Greninja,
Yeah.
and it's something I didn't mind. We don't really get to see a lot of draws and battles, especially within X and Y, so it was
Yeah.
something interesting to see.
I thought that the double draws was. At first, I didn't take it well because I'm thinking, wow, like in my brain, it's exactly what you said. It's like, wow, they're doing this to speed things up really fast so that the main battle can happen. That sort of underwhelms the other Pokemon. But then I thought about it at the same time. The two draws means that Shota and Ash are just really tough. Like
Yeah,
they're both really. It's a really well done battle for them, making them seem as though they're more evenly matched.
right.
So I took it with a grain of salt, but at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, well, at least Goodra didn't lose really fast, and then Slurpuff get one shotted or something. So I guess it does in a way show that the Pokemon themselves were really into the battle.
hmm And besides, they both Noivern and Gudra both had their fair share of moments, just like the others.
Yeah. And then we move on to Pikachu versus Sceptile,
Yeah,
which Pikachu lost fast, and I expected it.
yeah, and I'm really happy to see this particular matchup because that's something that I've been wanting to see myself. Ash's ace against Shota's ace, better loud. Yeah, I know Pikachu didn't do much only because he was already injured for that Aegislash, but still something
Yeah,
great to see.
Aegislash and Clawitzer.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, Pikachu got a double win in this one.
Isn't that considered cheating? I'm kidding.
I mean, nah, Pikachu's done that crap before, so it's just with this battle, yeah, it went by really fast, and I was already proud of Pikachu for getting 2 wins anyway, so I
Yeah.
wasn't really too beat up about it losing to Sceptile because I expected it. I would have been a little disturbed though if Sceptile had Mega Evolved and made and just completely creamed Pikachu because it took Mega Evolving for Raichu to even come close, and it got smacked
hmm
when Tirino fought Shota.
Right,
So
right.
it shows that Pikachu and Raichu were about the same level when fighting up against Sceptile. Because yeah, Pikachu wasn't gonna win that fight. Let's not fool ourselves.
Yeah, regardless. So
Oh
there wasn't
yeah.
really much he could do.
Although I think it would have been cool if like Leaf Blade had come in and Pikachu's static had activated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that way it's clear that even though Sceptile has the type advantage, that static can come out of nowhere and make or break the entire battle.
hmm
Just to make it seem more realistic. And then we move on to the main battle itself, Greninja versus Sceptile. And I say Greninja versus Sceptile and not their other forms yet, because they actually do start the fight off in the regular forms.
hmm
So real briefly, just what did you think about the regular form battle?
It was still good, really,
Yeah,
compared to what we had left. It just comes to show that, they were doing this to get the feel of each other.
just warming up.
Yeah, just warming up. Just remember that the last time these two, battled it out, it was, before the Wolfric battle. So you never know how much development them and their Pokemon have been through. So, I think it was I think it was great to see these guys, quote unquote, warm up before the actual battle itself.
Yeah, I agree too. It's a lot that is usually used in Dragon Ball Z, where like two fighters will be fighting purposely on like normal state before they kick it into high gear with Super Saiyan or something.
Right.
So yeah, it was nice to see moments like that, and it still was visually pleasing. And then we go to the actual big fight, which had a pretty nice amount of time behind it, and
Oh yeah.
especially considering all the battles that went down during this episode. We finally move on to Ash Greninja versus Mega Sceptile, and goddamn.
Actually, before we went on to that particular segment, now we did get a moment where, where the whole background goes to pitch black, and then you see, this gold flooring. I don't have.
Yeah, it's the same background that happened when they fought at in the Pokemon Center.
Right, and that's also one of my few favorite moments because not only because it's beautiful and not to mention what's the word I'm looking for I just like how that particular moment reflects the rivalry that these guys have had, ever since they first met. You look at it reflects what we've had in the what's the opening call that we had last time before XY&Z?
Oh, crap, get a bonbon?
Get a bump on. There you go. It's similar to the opening where, when we first got to see Shota, we're all like, who is this kid? Like, what role is he going to play within
Yeah, he
this
was really
particular series?
shrouded in mystery for the longest time during Get a Bonbon. I think it wasn't until like the last few episodes of X and Y that not the last few. It wasn't until like what the Valerie stuff after Clement. It was when we finally got to see him
Right.
in
And,
action. But we got Get a Bonbon like I don't know. I want to say we had Get a Bonbon probably after what Karina. Well,
yeah,
shortly after Karina. I think Serena still had to do some stuff. But we got Get a Bonbon not so long after the Karina battle. So we had to go through Ramos and Clement before we could even see Shota.
oh yeah. And, going back to this particular segment of the episode, as I said, amazing and beautiful moment there. It reflects how much these two have went through rivals, and going back to Shota and how this particular moment ties up with the opening, it comes to show how much we've been through to understand this particular character, and I like that. I like the message Amore implemented in that particular moment.
I agree. Yeah. It's just when because it was gold this time instead of blue.
Yeah,
Which as aesthetically works based on the situation of each battle. I remember when it was blue, I think Ash was losing.
hmm
He got his butt kicked because he couldn't transform Greninja into Ash
yeah.
Greninja, so he got kicked to the curb. But in this one, it's gold, showing like it's a more warming color, it's a more satisfying color, and it shows that their rivalry is, while it's coming to a close, it's ending on a really good note.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But yeah, sorry, I just thought I'd point that out. But
No, no,
anyways,
no, that's really yeah. I was thinking something similar to that, and then the actual battle starts,
right.
and oh boy, it again like much like with the Mega Obama Snow fight, it wasn't really strategic. It was more epic, more of a spectacle. But this battle was a lot more pleasing in terms of epicness, not only just because the animation was really good, but it was just epic on the factors that it it felt like a lot was happening during the battle.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got Ash and Shota. These two people have been on a rivalry, and you got, Greninja Semptile with a bit of history. And back then, we started out with Trico and Frogadier, and look where they're at now. This was pretty much a battle we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, it's a rivalry not just between the trainers but the Pokemon as well, and I
Yeah.
think that's what really helped it. I think that's what really stepped it up from being just an average battle. Because I kept looking at the Wolfric battle and I'm trying to figure out what's the difference here between those two and why this one just felt more comfortable for me.
Well, yeah,
And I
Wolfric.
think it's just because of the ties that Greninja and Sceptile had against each other.
Yeah, I mean, comparing to, what we've had against Wolfric, against Wolfric, he's just a gym leader. He doesn't really hold any, significance. But unlike Shota and this particular battle, it meant something.
Yeah. So, yeah, in the battle, it was just one thing I really do like about the battle too, and the fact that one of the reasons I like the league right now. I don't know if other leagues have done this. Well, obviously they couldn't because transformations weren't really a thing. But like, I don't know if the other leagues were as hyped in Japan. In America, I know they were pretty hyped to a degree. But in the league, in this league at least, you notice when Ash Greninja happens, when Greninja turns into Ash Greninja, the announcer's like, "Oh, Satoshi
Oh yeah,
Grekoga," and
the amount of reaction.
and the crowd is just like, yeah, and then they're into it.
Right, and it makes sense considering that they've never seen this transformation. They're only familiar with Mega Evolution.
Exactly, and well, even then, the announcer's just like Mega Shiga, and the crowd isn't as loud on that one because, like you just said, they know of Mega Evolution. But I guess when they see Ash Greninja, they lost their minds.
Right.
Cause really, and I know this kind of is weird for Ash, because Ash has never been a big attention getter in most of his leagues, except for Sinnoh when he beat Darkrai.
Yeah.
Um, this was a really big like
You know,
moment for
yeah.
Ash.
Ash was getting he was getting the spotlight basically.
Exactly, yeah, that's a better terminology. He was gaining a lot of spotlight because of that. Like this battle would definitely go into the records of Kalos League history, only because like no one's ever seen Ash Greninja. No other trainers have an Ash Greninja. Well, or that trainer Greninja. Um, yeah, no other trainers have it. It's new. And did he say Satoshi Gikoga? Did the
Uh,
announcer say it?
I don't recall, to be honest.
Yeah, I
I'm
gotta
I'm
go
gonna have
back
to.
and check. But if he said it, then
Yeah.
that means at some point they all learned the name. Maybe Bonnie slipped it to the announcer or something.
Well, who knows?
But it's just cool to see how hyped the crowd got over the transformation that's only exclusive to Ash. It definitely makes them stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And in the battle, it was a great battle. Like there's no other ways I can put it. It was really good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it did everything right from the animation, the lighting and shadowing, the music selection as well, which I was very pleased with. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Did you notice the that cut actually looks like giant kunais now?
giant one now.
Kunai knives. The knives that
Oh,
ninjas use.
oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. So that was actually really pleasing to me. It looked really nice. Can maybe you can explain it? The giant water shuriken that happened. I mean, when it turned super size.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously it was a first timer that, we've seen something like this. And, I think that grew into an even bigger shuriken based on the amount of determination these two have had. I think that, once they're really fired up, they're both feeling the same feelings. I think the greater the size this shuriken grows.
So, in other words, through the power of Shonen,
Yeah,
the power of Shonen. Okay,
yeah,
I can buy it for this fight. This fight earned or deserves it as far as I'm concerned. Cause it had everything we needed and the pacing was really done. And the reason I'm upset about this actually is because the reason I'm upset is because the league started off so cringeworthy because of how fast and rushed and
yeah.
unprepared it was. And then we get this battle, which is beautiful.
Yeah, and it had to take up to until the semifinal until we actually get the true taste of this league.
But that just begs the question: why wasn't the league always epic? Obviously, the first few rounds aren't going to be as epic as this battle.
Yeah.
Like that's not possible. But at the same time, I feel this is Ash's only true battle in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first ever full banner that we actually get to see from Ash. I mean, heck, I can even already say that, in the past leagues, they were at least better than the Kalos in terms of how they start off this particular event.
Yeah, and it feels like right now this is the only true battle he's been in. The rest of them, he one-shotted easily, and they were 3-on-3 battles, but we only got to see one of his Pokemon fight. Like Ash Greninja beat Altaria, then bam, the match was over.
Yeah, then we got
Hawlucha beats
yeah,
Mega Absol, and bam, his fight with Astrid is over.
yeah. And then the Righteous said, "All right, that's all you get. Now we get to the real fight. Now we get to the true taste of the Kalos
Exactly.
League."
We got to see more of Trevor, Tirino, and Shota than we got to see of Ash at that point.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I just like even though this league it has been doing good so far, how they start things off, it just seemed like the writers didn't really place too much emphasis on the other battles. That they were rather more focused on these rivalries.
Right.
But
Which is a
yeah.
good and a bad thing. I mean, honestly, the league should have been able to do both.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like that Furfrou moment got in the way, which people have told me in the comment section that it is an important moment, but I still think there could have been a way they could have done it without ruining, like, say, Trevor's episode or
Right.
making it or shortcutting Ash so that he only does one fight and then bam, his battle is over. Like I feel there could have been a better way to come at it.
Oh yeah, like don't get me wrong. I like the Furfu guy. Like I like his character and whatnot, but I just think that there's a better place and time for the writers to use him. Maybe like a separate episode that's not the league.
Yeah, like to they should have. Long story short, this league should have had a opening ceremony episode. I
Right.
know if we're counting, I don't know if you want to count it, but there's that episode next week we've got where it's like fierce
Some.
fighting at the Kalos League, gather all of my passion. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like I know that's there, and it's not technically one of the league matches, but at the same time I think that's 7 episodes total that this league has.
Hmm. I say about
And
yeah.
yeah, it's about 7 episodes. I'm sorry, I know it would have been longer than 7 episodes, which I think some leagues end in 6, some end in 7.
Yeah.
But an opening ceremony would have been nice.
Yeah.
It would have gotten all of that stuff out of the way, and the battles that we did see would have been more fleshed out. Because this
Mm-hmm.
battle was a prime result of what most of the matches in here should have came close to. I'm not gonna say they all should have been this way, otherwise this battle would have lost luster.
Yeah.
But
But
they should have come close.
yeah, this particular battle shows what this league could have been capable of if it was handled right.
Right. So it's a slight annoyance I have, but that's the annoyance I'm coming with. That's the only real drawback I can think of too, in terms of this episode, because it was good. It was a good
Yeah.
episode, no
Oh
doubt
yeah.
about it. One of the best episodes in the league so far.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my only gripe is that it was good. That's my problem, is that it was too good, because then it makes the other league episodes look like crap.
Yeah, really. Like, why couldn't they've gotten better treatment at least?
Right. And then, like, yeah, you look at Trevor's battling, you think, oh my god. Because all they did was show the Charizard match, which, looking
Right,
back, wasn't really that long.
and so much for that episode title. Megastars X versus Megastars Y. They've only shown like less than 10 minutes of it.
Right. Like, their battle literally wasn't even one of the bigger focuses of the episode. It was Furfrou.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's just, well, they're this far into the league now. They can't go back. We just gotta cross our fingers that the Elan fight will be just as big, if not bigger. Hell, it's the finals. And oh, I guess I'm glad you're here with me during this review, because it's a milestone in Ash's history. He is in the top. He is in. Even if he loses, he will be in second place.
Mm-hmm. We followed this childhood figure for nearly 20 years, and look where he's at right now. After
He
all of
is
his,
in the finals. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's called progress. If
And
we wait for this and we got it.
you know, he's made an improvement. He's stepped above the Sinnoh League. Granted, the Sinnoh League I think probably had more challengers,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think, but at the same time, this league I think is the hardest league out of all of them because of Evolution.
right.
Like even the announcer is basically like, if you want to win, you basically have to have a Mega with you because Megas were dominating.
Yeah, otherwise you're gonna end up like Tierno.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, Ash has reached new heights,
Mm-hmm. Another
and
question remains, will he win the final itself?
the title itself says Kalos League victory, Ash's ultimate match, but that doesn't really tell us anything.
Right, I mean,
Like the victory, from what I read, the victory is what they're shooting for.
right, so it could either be Ash or Alon.
Or a line, yeah. But what's your take on that, real fast?
What's the question again?
What's your take on Ash and Alon based just on that title alone?
Well, I'm expecting, I would say, because, considering how this today's episode went down, I can't imagine, since this is the final, I can't imagine how much better, at least, or how similar it'll be if, in terms of animation and
Uh
how
huh.
this episode's written. Um, but yeah, in terms of the battle itself, looking forward to it. We haven't seen Nash battle against Alon in a while. And just see how much they've progressed.
Yeah. But let's see. I don't think we have any other thoughts. Do you have anything else about this episode? Like the last thought I have is it was really good. It was visually pleasing, and Shota is a rival done right. He's a beginner rival all the way up to Ash's level, and it was done really correctly. They definitely learned from their Kotetsu mistake.
Oh yeah, I mean, looking at Shota, starting out as a rookie, he ended up really well in the College League semifinals. That's not bad.
Oh, I lied. We actually did get Shota a little bit earlier than the than Valerie. It was when before Ash fought Clement. Clement fought against Shota.
Oh, in terms of first appearance, yes.
Yeah, that was his first appearance. Although we didn't know much about him, we just know
Right.
he fought Clement.
Mm-hmm.
So we did know of him. But going from there all the way to going from there all the way to being up at Ash's level, this is a rival done correctly. This isn't just bring a crappy rival who doesn't know much in at last minute and then kicks Ash at the curve. Because I honestly gotta say, I was scared that Shota was gonna beat Ash for the
Mm-hmm.
longest. I was. Even
Right.
back then, when we saw that Ash was clearly overpowering Shota in every battle that they ever were in, he always won. He always came out on top. So I was a bit scared, but at the same time, when they started to make Ash a bit, I guess, overzealous,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then he took that fall from Shota, that was a reminder that he needs to get his butt back in gear, and then he beats Shota. So I'm glad they didn't give Shota the win there, just strictly off of the fact that, yeah, Shota's appropriate for beating Ash, but I'm glad Ash still won.
Right. Yeah, and I do have to agree that yeah, he was a rival done right. I really enjoyed his character development as a rival, and what you said with Ash beating no, not Ash, with Shota beating Ash for the first time, and having Ash go to this development, it comes to show that not only is he just a rival, but he's a character that does play a role in this particular series. In this case, Ash improving in his battling skills.
Right. So, did you have anything else you needed to say, Evie, about this episode? Well,
No,
these episodes, sorry.
um, overall, Omode has done a really fantastic job. I've got to say that, she did everything right, from the animation, the lighting, the dialogue, as well as the music selection.
I agree.
Yeah, she deserves a round of applause because that really left me at the edge of my seat.
Yeah, really, really well done. Really well done. My only gripe, I wish they had used a bit more different soundtracks. Like, I wish they had used the Xerneas and Evital theme.
Yeah.
The Elite Four would have been a really good song to use. They haven't used that since Ash's fight with Grant. That would have been a really welcomed song to bring into the battle.
Mhm.
Because I was thinking about it during the Salamence versus Noivern battle. But
Yeah.
other than that, really good episodes. The next episode we'll be doing a review of will be the fierce fighting at the Kalos League gather all of my passions. I want to thank Evie for being here today because I did do this thing where I have guests in almost every league episode of this XYZ series, just to get someone else's thoughts and takes on how the league is going so far. So, from what we see, we may have started off a bit rocky, but we can only go up from here since we only got one more match. So
Mhm.
yeah, follow Evie on Twitter, keep up with him and and Tasso and the others because they do commentaries and speculation videos and discussions as well. A lot of fun stuff, much like how KG, me, and the others do. So, with that said, Evie, thank you for being here.
Not a problem.
And I'll see you all then in the next time. Tyron the Guy 3 out.
See you later, guys.
See ya.